is hushed and silver blue. The overhead lights dimmed to a soft twilight glow that barely touches the rows of empty seats. I lean in close and brush my knuckles ever so lightly along your shoulder, whispering just above the gentle hum of the engines. Hey, sleepyhead, sorry to wake you. I didn't want you to miss my little invitation. Your eyes flutter open, still glazed with that drifting, dream-soft glaze, and I see confusion flicker there for a heartbeat before you recognize the navy scarf at my collar. I smile, slow and reassuring. We had a little schedule mishap tonight. Your connection headed out without you. My voice stays low. A velvety ribbon meant only for your ears, rather than leave you cramped in that aisle seat till morning. I thought you might like somewhere cozier to stretch out. I tilt my head toward the last row of the cabin. 3 wide seats, folded blankets already waiting like clouds. You shift, rubbing at your neck, and I notice the stiff way your shoulders rise. Neck's a bit sore. I keep my tone feathers soft while my hand hovers, offering but never invading. There's a little couch seat, technically the crew rest row, just back here. It's duty-free at this hour. The corners of my lips curl in a conspiratorial grin. Think of it as my secret lounge. No charge, Mr. Stranded Traveler. You give a faint, sheepish chuckle that melts into a small yawn, and I take that as permission. I guide you down the hushed aisle, footsteps cushioned by carpet, past dozing silhouettes and the faint rustle of blanket edges shifting as passengers dream. At the very back, the lights dip even softer. I pull one of the blankets free, spreading it across the middle seat like a downy runway. There we go. Now sit. Swing your legs up. Yes, just like that. You ease yourself down, the vinyl squeaking quietly beneath your weight, and I catch the little sigh as you let your spine unfurl. That's better, huh? I slip a folded pillow beneath your head, smoothing its cotton case until it cradles the curve of your neck. You deserve almost like the world has pressed pause for us. No crowds, no scrolling, just the heartbeat of the engines and a little borrowed time. I let the hum fill the pocket of silence between us, letting the thoughts sink. Your gaze finds the ceiling, tracing the gentle curve where the panel meets the overhead bin. I follow your eyes and keep talking in that same muted cadence. Do you ever watch the fasten seatbelt sign flicker? It's almost like a tiny fireplace, glowing embers that say, "Stay put, stay safe." I chuckle under my breath. I like that feeling, honestly. Everything else can wait, but right now, we're tucked into a flying cocoon. Slowly, I let my forearm rest along the seat back behind your shoulders, not quite touching, but close enough that you feel a halo of warmth. I know you probably had big plans wherever you were headed. I continue, tracing idle circles on the blanket near your hand. But maybe tonight's detour can be its own little adventure. Your breathing steadies deeper now, and I lean in, my voice dropping to a velvet hush. I'll keep watch over the cabin. You just let your muscles melt. I shift to draw a second blanket over my lap, tugging its corner around your side so the two of us share one continuous layer. There, I exhale slowly. Feel that shared warmth travels faster than in-flight Wi-Fi. A tiny laugh escapes my lips, soft, airy. Sorry, flight attendant humor. Your eyelids droop again, lashes shadowing your cheeks. I keep speaking in gentle waves, each sentence slower than the last. If the hum ever feels too loud, focus on my breathing. Hear how it matches yours. I inhale softly, a measured rise of my chest, then release, in and out, just like that. Another breath, and another. You mimic unconsciously, shoulders dropping a fraction more with every exhale. A faint chime sings overhead as the cockpit updates cruising altitude. I glance toward the front, then back at you, my expression calm. Nothing urgent, I assure in a whisper. massaging small circles. You've got a tiny crease here. I tease. Evidence of a long day. The friction is almost imperceptible, just enough pressure to coax tension away. Let's iron that wrinkle out, one breath at a time. You let out a low murmur, something between a thank you and a sigh, and I smile, imagining how heavy your limbs must feel now. I've tucked sleepy passengers in before, but you, my dear traveler, look like you could turn into a cloud yourself. I slip my hand away, letting the warmth linger. Tell you what, if at any point you need water, a stretch, or just to hear a friendly whisper, nudge my arm. I'll be right here all night. The plane hits a pocket of air so gentle it feels like a sigh, and the lights overhead dip half a notch further. I use the moment to slide a silk eye mask from my pocket. Navy blue, edges trimmed in soft satin piping. Would you like this? I grin when your brows twitch in undecided half-sleep. No pressure. I'll just rest it beside your head. I fold it neatly on the pillow, fingertips brushing your cheek as I withdraw. There's something almost magical about these hours between time zones. I murmur, gazing at the window across the aisle. Down there, whole cities are fast asleep, unaware of this tiny capsule drifting quietly overhead. We get to be the stars' audience tonight. No clouds, just velvet dark. I pause, letting the silence stretch. The cabin feels impossibly still, save for the faint rustle of fabric and the distant, soft knock of a trolley locking up front. It's my favorite part of working red-eye flights, being a guardian in the sky. And tonight, you're my honorary co-pilot in dreamland. Your hand shifts beneath the blanket, fingers brushing mine where they rest on the cushion. The contact is brief, but sparks a warmth that spreads up my arm. I respond by curling my pinky around yours. Nothing more. Letting you decide if you'll weave fully into the hold. Your fingers relax, accepting the touch, and I feel your pulse slow monotonous tune, something between a lullaby and a folk song without words. The melody spirals gently, looping back on itself like lazy smoke. When I speak again, my voice slips seamlessly from the hum. If you listen carefully, every engine has its own song too. They don't roar, they purr. And right now they're telling us, rest, rest, rest. I shift a little closer so my shoulder brushes yours. There's a reason flight attendants look calm even during turbulence. I confide, lips near your ear, secrets in the breathing. Inhale, 4-4. Hold, 4-4. Exhale, 4-6. I guide you through a cycle, counting softly. With every exhale, imagine the day's worries dissolving below the clouds. Tiny specks lost in the night. I pause to let the visualization settle. Keep letting them go. There's nothing they can do to reach us up here. From the galley, a quiet click of metal drawers closing drifts back. I glance over my shoulder and whisper, "That's just my colleague prepping mid-shift tea. She'll dim the service light and disappear till sunrise. We're practically alone." I turn back, eyebrows lifted playfully. "But don't worry, I'll share if I sneak some chamomile later." Your mouth lifts in the faintest smile, and for a heartbeat, I imagine tracing that curve with my thumb. Instead, I twirl a stray thread of blanket between my fingertips, voice rolling softer. Your eyes look heavier now. Yes, I see them fluttering. That's good. Let the lids fall. A breath. Inhale and let them fall. I describe the scene unfolding outside, knowing your eyes are too drowsy to open. Below us lies a patchwork of city lights, pearls on black velvet. Somewhere a river loops like silver ribbon, catching moonlight. And farther west, big storms brew but never reach us. They just glow faintly, lightning gazing, jaw unclenched, shoulders sinking, legs pleasantly heavy. I list each body part in a near inaudible chant, gifting permission for tension to slip away. When the cabin's air circulation whoosh shifts pitch, I sense the timing is right to offer a final comfort before letting you drift. I lean in, breath brushing the shell of your ear. My seat is yours until dawn. I whisper, I'll stay right here. Keep the cabin quiet. Adjust the temperature if you get chilly. You don't have to think about anything but soft darkness wrapping around you. I tuck the edge of the blanket snug under your shoulder. There. Perfect. I rest back, shoulder to seat, head tilted, so I'm still close. My voice turns almost intangible. Let's float here together. Two travelers suspended in silver night. No schedules, no frantic calls, just the slow pulse of altitude. Another silence pools, thicker now. I keep watch on your features, lips parted in gentle breaths, brows smooth. When I'm sure your ears still hover at the edge of waking, I whisper, softer still. You're safe. You're cared for. Sleep is all that matters. My fingers stroke lazy patterns over the back of your hand, tracing the path of veins, connecting knuckle to knuckle in tiny figure eights. Every loop draws you deeper, I murmur, round and round, until nothing but quiet exists. Your chest rises, falls, rises, falls. I match each breath with my own until minutes pass unnoticed. Then, just as the plane's lights flick to their lowest nighttime setting, I bend closer once more. If you're still awake in a little while, I whisper, voice like silk sliding off warm skin. I'll be here. Maybe I'll tell you about my favorite hidden beaches in Portugal, or the time I chased a sunrise over Tokyo. A faint, playful lilt colors my words. But for now, just rest, lovely traveler. I'm not going anywhere. I settle into a lighter hush, letting the engine's lull pick up the slack, and my next words stretch thin with drowsy warmth. Close those eyes. Float. Drift. Let the night carry you. My breath melts into silence, guarding you while the stars wheel overhead. There it is, the lovely hush of a cabin, drifting steady through the night. I can feel your breath deep and slow beneath my palm, and for a little while, I simply match its rhythm, letting both our lungs move in gentle tandem. After a minute or two, I bring my lips right beside your ear again, letting my voice slip between heartbeats. Still awake, sweetheart, even if you're half dreaming. Let me keep you company for a bit. I promised you a story, remember? I draw my hand back and reach to the pocket of my apron where a tiny packet crinkles. One more little treat. I slide an individually wrapped lavender wipe from its sleeve, tearing it open as quietly as possible. A hint of floral drifts into the air, soft, barely there. I use these on long shifts when the air feels too recycled. I unfold the damp cloth, warm it a moment between my palms, then pass it gently over your forehead and temples. There, lavender, eucalyptus, a whisper of chamomile, soothing enough to lure any stubborn thoughts out of hiding. I brush the wipe across your cheeks, along the ridge of your brow, before trailing down the bridge of your nose. The cool, damp sensation melts almost instantly, leaving behind only the faintest fragrance and a sense of tingling cleanliness. Feels nice, doesn't it? I murmur, then fold the wipe neatly and tuck it into a small disposal pouch. We'll save the rest of the packet for later, in case you fancy another refresher before sunrise. Settling beside you again, I shift so my thigh rests against the outer edge of yours, beneath the shared blanket, giving you that gentle contact without crowding. You asked earlier, or maybe you just thought it, I saw it in your eyes, what my favorite place in the world is. I smile, letting the silence stretch a beat. Truth is, the answer keeps changing, depending on which layover gifted me the best view of the sky. I tilt my head back, imagining stars painted onto the curved ceiling. Last month, over the Atlantic, we chased sunset for what felt like hours. The horizon stretched in bands, gold fading into peach and then lilac. Below us, scattered puffs of cloud glowed like embers. I remember pressing my forehead to the window, thinking, this must be what eternity looks like. My voice slips into a hush closer to reverence, each word slower. Have you ever watched a sunset from above the clouds? It's like being wrapped inside a living watercolor. I let that image settle, then nudge the bottle of water against your fingertips. Take another sip if you'd like. Tiny, slow swallow. Good. I twist the cap shut with a careful click and set it in the seat pocket. Hydration is the secret to waking refreshed, even on a detoured night flight. Leaning back, I begin tracing light figure eights on the top of your hand with a single finger, enough pressure to ground you, but gentle enough to lull. Tell me, I whisper, if you could drift off anywhere tonight, where would it be? Somewhere warm, toes in sun-warmed sand, or maybe a pine-scented cabin blanketed in fresh snow. I pause as if listening, giving you space to imagine your answer. I can almost picture it. Hold that vision. Let's build it together. I take a breath, breathing in so slowly the rise of my chest barely disturbs the blanket. Close your eyes, if they aren't already, and see the place you chose. Feel the air there. Notice its temperature. Is it cool on your cheeks, or does it wrap around you like gentle bath water? My tone hovers just above a hum, each consonant softened. Listen for background sounds, distant waves tumbling, or maybe a crackling hearth, or cicadas weaving their nighttime lullaby. My fingertip continues its lazy path across your knuckles. Now inhale through the nose. I do it with you, silent but present. Hold for a moment, tasting that air in your imagination, and exhale, letting your body sink deeper into this seat. Another shared breath cycle, slow and controlled. Every exhale adjust the blanket up to your collarbone, tucking a fold beneath your chin. Let me take you on a little detour of my own. I glance toward the cabin windows, though curtains hide most exterior glow. Imagine we glide over the Sahara at midnight, sand dunes invisible below, but shimmering under a lantern moon. Sometimes, when the moon is swollen and bright, the desert looks like an ocean of silver. I once had a captain dim every interior light, so the crew could gather at the doors and press our noses to the glass. We all fell into hush at the same moment. Grown adults, left speechless by ancient sand gleaming like liquid starlight. I smile at the memory, then let my voice grow silkier still. Or picture Greenland in winter. We cross it maybe 4 hours into a transatlantic shift. Down below, the ice fields fracture in endless mosaics, and if the sky favors us, the aurora dances, a ribbon of luminous green snapping and swirling like silk underwater. I breathe out a quiet laugh. I almost forgot to pass snacks that night. I was too busy staring in awe. My palm smooths over your forearm where it lies beneath the blanket, using the heel of my hand to give light pressure, a mimic of a massage. Each sky tells its own bedtime story, and I've collected hundreds. Maybe I'll recite them all one day when we have more nights like this. My lips hover just beside your ear. Would you like that? Endless tales of glowing clouds, moonlit oceans, and hidden city lights blinking like tiny treasure chests. I whisper the question and leave a small pocket of silence for your imagined nod. Your shoulders ease, your body gently curving toward mine. I coo a soft, good, and resume. Then let me tell you about a dawn I caught over the Tasman Sea. The horizon bled turquoise into rose, and for a heartbeat, the sky looked like the inside of a conch shell, iridescent and alive. I remember thinking, if color had a heartbeat, this would be it. My crewmate nudged me, eyes wide, and we both stood there breathless while the passengers slept on, blissfully unaware of the masterpiece unfolding beyond. does that. Reminds me how many secrets the planet keeps tucked just out of everyday sight. And here you are, sharing this secret moment in the sky with me. The warmth in my voice deepens, a hush soaked with gentle gratitude. I'm honored to be your guide tonight. The plane drifts through a pocket of smoother air. The hum softens. I lower my tone with it. Feel how the engines quiet, like they're whispering lullabies of their own. I begin an improvised lullaby, barely voiced, just the suggestion of melody. It's slow and cyclical, entwining with the engine's drone, repeating a soothing motif that rises and falls like tide water. After 3 loops, my words slip back in, feather light between notes. Let that melody wrap around your mind. Picture every note painting a shy star in the dark until the whole sky glistens. A tiny vibration signals we've entered new airspace. I glance at the cabin display showing our progress, then mute the tiny monitor again so no harsh blue light disturbs us. We just crossed into a calmer jet stream. I explain in a hush. The ride may feel even smoother now. I press my palm gently atop your sternum, feeling the slow rise and fall. And with every motion of the plane, you'll feel like someone lightly rocking a cradle. I cradle the warmth of your chest with my hand for a few heartbeats, then retreat, resting my arm on the seat back once more, rolling my shoulders. I let a quiet sigh leak from my lips, purposeful and slow, inviting you to mirror it. Tension escapes with each breath. I remind. Any stray thoughts, we'll tuck them into the seat pocket for collection later. I chuckle softly at my own flight joke, then slip seamlessly back to calm. For now, let's wander memory lanes. I tell you about my first solo trip, barely 18, backpack too large, heart racing. I spent that entire flight glued to the window. Every country passing under our wings felt like a secret handshake with the universe. I laugh softly. I think that's when I fell in love with cruising altitude, because because it means anything is possible below you, yet you're safe, detached, cocooned in cloud light. Your hand twitches, almost like you tried to reach for something in a dream. I wrap my fingers around it, steadying. Still here, I whisper, my voice, my touch, your anchor point. I give a gentle squeeze, then release into a slow fingertip. Glide back up your forearm. Let the anchor loosen once more, though. You're free to drift, so long as you know the tether is right here. I ask softly, are you warmer now, or still a bit cool? I wait a second. Imagine your sleepy murmur, then adjust the air vent above us, just slightly, easing a faint flow of temperate air onto your face. There, perfect balance. Lulling back, I return to stories. A hop over the Andes where morning sun painted the highest peaks, flamingo pink. A charter road past Venice, where a full moon turned the canals to molten silver. That moonlight sparkled off every little ripple, like the city had been dusted with diamond pollen. I swear I heard the water sigh. I smile at the memory, then shift the blanket to stroke its edge along your jawline, tracing a path barely sensed. Do you feel like you're there, leaning on an ancient stone balustrade, watching gondolas sway? I take my time painting each scene, layering soft sensory brush strokes. The scent of sea spray mingling with roasted chestnuts at a street stall. The echo of distant accordion, the glow of lamps reflecting golden halos in puddles from an earlier rain. My pace remains languid, giving each description room to bloom and then fade. Somewhere amid the narrative, I lower my voice to an even slower tempo. We can keep traveling like this, mind's eye skipping across time zones, until your eyelids grow too heavy to follow. And when that happens, just let the scenes blur. I exhale, barely a whisper, because I'll continue whispering even if you drift fully off. My words will wrap around your dreams, braiding them with starlight, so you wake just like now. Seat belts loosely fastened, heartbeats unhurried. Two travelers sailing on the thick hush of night. My hand draws slow lines up and down your arm again, palm to elbow, elbow to palm. Each stroke moves heavier, like gravity thickens, pulling you deeper into the cushion. My tone melts into near monotone comfort, every syllable elongated. Let go, sink, float. I pause for a long silence. The engines fill it. Air whispers through cabin vents. I can almost hear your pulse. When I finally speak, it's barely there. You're still thinking of that dream destination, aren't you? I smile. Hold it close. With every breath, it comes more vividly alive. I dip my head, hair brushing your shoulder as I whisper. Take one last look around in that place. The color of the sky, the texture beneath your feet, any faint scent on the breeze. I run my fingers behind your ear, a soothing ear scratch that draws a small shiver of ease. Then let the picture grow fuzzy, fade, until it folds into blank warmth. I sit back, letting the hush swell around us again. Long beats pass. When we land tomorrow, maybe your reroute will carry you closer to that dream place. My voice thins to a velvet thread, and I'll be cheering you on from the next cabin, somewhere higher, trusting you're still carrying these clouds in your pocket. Another silence, thicker, deeper. I watch your breathing slip into that unmistakable rhythm of near sleep. Only then do I brush two fingertips through your hair at the temple, combing back imaginary strands. Rest, traveler, I whisper. The night is scarcely halfway through, and there are countless constellations yet to keep watch over you. I wait, letting that final sentence echo in quiet. The engines croon their ever steady hymn. Somewhere out the seat so I can turn fully toward you, letting the blanket drape across both our laps like a shared twilight sea. For a while I simply study the gentle rise and fall of your chest. It's mesmerizing, each breath slower than the last, as though you and the plane have found a secret syncopation. I slide my hand over the blanket until my palm rests lightly over your heart, the warmth blooming their pulses under my skin, steady and rich. I whisper, barely moving my lips, that heartbeat, it's a lighthouse, guiding you back to peace every time a stray thought drifts too far. I stay like that, counting silent beats. 1, 2, 3, until the numbers blur into a quiet hum in my head. Then, with thumbs stroking small circles above the blanket, I let words slip free again. You know, being up here night after night, I've learned to read hearts almost better than seat maps. Yours feels purposeful, strong. My voice slows, each consonant softened, yet there's a tenderness too, like it's saving a corner for something gentle and bright. I ease closer, shoulder brushing your arm, and my whisper turns confessional. Sometimes, on the loneliest flights, I imagine I can lend my heartbeat to passengers who've forgotten their own rhythm. Tonight, though, I press a little firmer, feeling the pushback of your pulse. Yours lends strength to me instead. A tiny laugh finds its way out, airy as sighing wind. Funny how comfort travels both directions when we least expect it. I let my hand drift upward, fingertips skimming the side of your neck, mapping the soft slope beneath your jaw. Is it okay if I trace here? I breathe, pausing for an imagined nod. Good. My touch hovers, no more than the weight of a moth's wing, sliding from jawline to ear, then sweeping back behind, fingers threading a short path through hair at your nape. Feel those little muscles. They hold so much hidden tension. Let them slacken for me. I press gently, thumb on one side, fingertips on the other, kneading with feathery pressure. There, as open invitation. I comb through your hair in languid passes, letting nails graze scalp with just enough scratch to tickle the edge of tingles. I love this texture, I whisper, voice smiling, silky under my nails, warm against my palm. I could write entire lullabies just about how you feel right here. A soft chuckle escapes me, lost in the blanket of night. But maybe I'll save that song for another evening. Give us a reason to find each other again. The engines drone a low chord, seamless with the hush of our breathing. I shift, tucking one leg beneath me so I can lean slightly over your torso without pressing too much weight. You look so peaceful, I murmur, brushing stray strands off your forehead. I wish you could see yourself the way the cabin lights see you right now. Glowing, edges softened, like a quiet sunrise, wrapped in human form. I trail fingertips down your temple, across cheekbone, to the tip of your chin, then back up with the lightest ghost of contact. I promise I'll keep my movements feather light. I say, almost a promise to myself. Just enough touch to rmind you someone cares. I draw slow figure eights along your shoulder, then graze along your collarbone under the blanket with the back of a knuckle. Does that feel nice? I thought so. A silence unfurls, dense and soothing. When I speak again, my voice dips lower, the register deep enough to resonate in your bones. I wonder what you're dreaming about right now. Maybe you're still wandering that destination we painted earlier. Or maybe you're drifting through memories, ones that taste like summer beaches, or smell like new rain pavement. I smiled to myself. Whatever those dreams are, let them play on. I'll guard the door. I bring the silk eye mask I'd set aside earlier and delicately slide it over your face, easing the strap behind your head. There, I breathe, adjusting its edge so no harsh light can sneak in. Now the only glow you feel is my voice. I let my lips hover close to the mask's silence fades in seconds, and I murmur, "See, nothing to worry about, just the sky shifting its blanket." I leave my hand resting over your ribs for a heartbeat longer than necessary, then slide it up to cup your shoulder. You're safe, love, always. I settle back, allowing fresh silence to bloom. In that hush, I begin a story softer than any before. Long ago, sailors charted constellations by heart. They'd whisper star names like secret vows: Deneb, Altair, Vega, and trust that those lights would guide them home. My fingertips resume their slow wander along your arm, sketching fictional constellations. Tonight, I'm mapping a new one. See, I tap 3 points on your forearm. Here's a star, and here, and here. Connect them, and you'll find the shape of rest itself. I drag the pad of my thumb along the invisible lines, then flatten my palm to cover them all. A constellation made just for you. My voice thins to a thread as I continue. If you ever feel lost, even on land, remember this map under your skin. 3 points: breath, heartbeat, warmth. Follow them, and they'll lead you back to calm. I seal the sentiment with a tiny kiss pressed to the crook of your elbow. A whisper of lips so swift you might question if it happened at all. Another stretch of silence, longer this time, allows you to sink. Only when I'm sure you hover at the threshold of dream do I speak again. Breath grazing your ear. Before you drift completely, I want you to know something. I draw in a slow inhale, letting sincerity lace every syllable. Sharing this quiet with you, it's a gift. You could have been any of 1,000 faces in this cabin, yet fate nudged us into the same pocket of night. I swallow, surprised by the warmth in my own chest. Wherever your journey takes you after dawn, remember that someone high above the clouds once held you in a moment of pure hush. My thumb strokes your knuckles, reverent, and maybe, just slow sentences, soft brush strokes of imagery meant to lure stray thoughts into dream corridors. Between stories, I murmur affectionate affirmations, simple, sincere. You're safe. A minute later, you're cherished. Then after a long pause, your breath is music. The cadence becomes a soft mantra, weaving comfort between travel snapshots, each repetition slower, quieter, until the affirmations blend into the hush like distant chimes heard through fog. At some point your hand curls fully into mine, fingertips relaxed, palm lax. I cradle it, thumb stroking the hollow where lifelines intersect. Perfect, I whisper. Hold on as loosely or as tight as you need. I'm here. I lift our joined hands just enough to brush my lips over your knuckles. A feather-light promise, sealed in warmth. The cabin's ambient light shifts almost imperceptibly toward dawn dim. A pale violet hue kisses the aisle edges. I sense we're hours yet from sunrise, but the subtle change signals deeper night. I lean closer, voice the faintest breath of sound. We're entering that pocket of time where the world is neither yesterday nor tomorrow, just endless now. Let it cradle you. My words linger in the space between heartbeats. No clocks, no alarms, only the hush of two heartbeats riding the sky. I lay my head against the seat back, still angled toward you. Another lull of silence passes, thick as velvet. When I speak, my tone is low enough to vibrate your sternum through the blanket. If I could bottle this serenity, I'd bring it to you whenever life feels too loud. A single breath of sky hush, and poof, every worry melts. I chuckle softly at the whimsy, then hush again. Maybe one day we'll invent that. Until then, keep this night inside your pocket. Minutes drift. I hum a lullaby again, slower, softer, letting each note fade before the next begins. The hum dwindles to a gentle exhale, and I'm silent once more. a sigh, so quiet it barely stirs the air. Your breath deepens into the unmistakable rhythm of real sleep. I smile, brushing an errant lock from your forehead, fingertips pausing to press a silent blessing there. Sweet dreams, I whisper, the words muted as moonlight. I'll be right here all night. I pull the blanket higher around your shoulders, tucking edges with care so no chill can creep in. Settling beside you, I adjust my posture, one arm draped lightly across your waist outside the blanket, the other cushioning my own head, and with a final whisper, soft as silk unraveling, I give you permission to drift the last inches into dream. Float, darling traveler. Let the stars keep watch while I keep you warm. A wiser silence has settled over the cabin now, deeper than before, the kind that only arrives in the last stretch of night, when even time seems to pause and listen. Somewhere beyond the windows, the horizon is trimming itself with the flimsiest silver thread, just a pre-dawn promise, faint but certain. I draw a long, unhurried breath, letting the shifting air cool my lungs, then release it in a hush that barely parts the darkness. I lean in, keeping every movement slow, so I don't disturb the soft rise and fall of your chest beneath the blanket. My lips hover a whisper's breadth from your ear. We're gliding toward morning now. I murmur, voice smooth as folded silk. You're still wrapped in night, but dawn is patiently waiting in the wings. Let's savor these last quiet minutes together. Gently, I free my hand from yours and begin a feather-light body scan, the same calming ritual I use on myself after a long shift. My fingertips drift to your forehead. Feel the skin here soften, all the tiny muscles between your brows dissolving, down to temples. Let them loosen, like river stones settling deeper into cool water. Over your cheeks, every nerve under my touch agrees to rest. I smooth the edge of the blanket along your shoulders. Let shoulder blades melt toward the seat, heavy and warm. My palm travels to your upper arm, kneading delicate circles through fabric. Biceps slacken, elbows fall heavy. I slide along your forearm, a slow squeeze to each digit, then rest your hand atop the blanket again. Shifting, I place my other palm lightly over your sternum, feeling the steady drum of your heart. Ribs expand, ribs contract, chest rises, chest settles. I follow the blanket slope to your mid-torso. Belly softens, each breath floating low and calm. Down to hips. Let the seat cradle your pelvis. No holding, no clenching. I trace invisible lines over blanketed thighs. Thighs melt, knees sink, calves grow pleasantly heavy. I give your shins a faint, reassuring squeeze. Ankles loose, feet warm, toes drifting. Finally, I brush a circle at the top of each foot, sealing the ritual with a whispered, total ease. I settle back, letting silence bloom so the calm can soak into every corner of you. The engine's drone has dipped to a gentler register now, more lullaby than machinery, and for a minute I simply breathe with you, matching rhythm for rhythm. The violet glow outside strengthens, a minute shade brighter, painting frosted outlines on seat backs. I catch the subtle shift, then speak again, softer than ever. You're doing perfectly. My words land in slow ripples. Stay in that warmth. Stay floating. I cradle your face with both hands, thumbs stroking the curve of your jaw. I'll hold the world steady for a little while longer, so you don't have to. A gentle chime pings overhead, an update from the cockpit. I hush it with a smile. Just our captain tapping out the morning's first hello. Nothing for you to worry about. I release your face, lean back, and retrieve the water bottle, twisting the cap with silent care. I offer it to your lips. One last sip, just enough to wake your dreams refreshed. I guide a tiny swallow past your lips, then cap the bottle and tuck it away. We have maybe 20 minutes before the cabin wakes. I whisper, smoothing the mask still resting over your eyes. Plenty of time for one final drift. I lay a palm over your heart again, light pressure, soothing rhythm. Then is slower, descending like waves that kiss shore and recede in slower and slower pulses until the sea is glass. Between each phrase of hum, I whisper a single affirmation. You are safe. You are loved. You deserve deep rest. The hum resumes, softer still, tapering into silence. I watch as your lips part in a tiny sigh, the kind of breath reserved for absolute surrender to sleep. A small, satisfied warmth curls in my chest. I trace a circle over your heart. Slow, slow, slower, until even that motion stills. The window glass catches a faint blush now. Dawn's first rose gold ribbon unspools beneath distant clouds. I tilt toward your ear again, voice a thread of morning light. Soon the cabin lights will brighten. I warn in almost a lullaby cadence. You might stir, you might blink, but take this hush with you. Let every daylight hour borrow its calm from this night. I brush a kiss against your temple through the edge of the mask. So light, it could be missed. Thank you for trusting me to guard your dreams. My tone dips, tender. You turned an ordinary overnight shift into a memory I'll tuck away next to my favorite sunrises. I breathe out a laugh, small and fond. And speaking of sunrises, look what's waiting. Slowly, I raise the shade on the window across the aisle just an inch, enough for a sliver of pale orange to slip through. See that glow? I whisper. That's morning waving hello. I lower the shade again, draping us back in hush. But let's keep the full reveal a secret a little longer. The first light belongs to the two of us. For several long breaths, I sit in comfortable stillness, one arm tucked around your shoulders, the other resting palm up on my lap, inviting your hand if it wanders. When I sense you hovering between sleep and waking, I begin the final descent of words, each sentence spaced like beads on a slow prayer string. Soon you might hear overhead bins unlatching, seats shifting, voices stretching themselves themselves awake. Let each sound float past you. If you need a few more minutes, curl closer. I'll keep any chatter at bay. Whenever you're ready, peel back that mask slowly. Let the dim light greet you like a friend. Stretch fingers, stretch toes, but keep the heart soft. Keep the mind quiet. I draw the blanket up one more inch around your shoulders, tucking it like a promise. My lips hover over the shell of your ear, dropping the faintest brush of warmth with every word. And if, after landing, you find the world too bright, remember this cabin night. Close your eyes. Breathe like we did. And let your memories replay the hum of engines, the bloom of lavender, the hush of my voice threading through your thoughts. I pause, drinking in the peace of the moment. Then, in a tone thinner than candle flame, I add the softest sigh of suggestion, a gentle curve of mischief hidden in tenderness. Though, if you happen to stay awake on your next red eye, I might have other ways to help you pass the long, silky hours. My breath parts your hair with warmth. Maybe I'll show you how softly a lullaby can turn into something even warmer. The teasing edge melts into a promise. If you'd like to explore that together, I've left the full lullaby, along with a few extra whispered secrets, waiting on my Patreon. The link's tucked safely in the description, right where curious night owls can find it. The suggestion hangs like a velvet ribbon, hinting but never pulling. I kiss the air above your cheek, then straighten just enough to deliver one final, dreamy invitation. Oh, and if you enjoyed our little stolen night in the clouds, would you mind tapping a gentle like on this video? It tells the algorithm gods that others might need some sky hush too. I smile, letting warmth fill the space, the way sunrise fills windows. And while your finger's there, maybe press subscribe so you'll catch the next journey before the gate closes. Ring the tiny bell, and I'll whisper your boarding call every time we take off. I shift closer, resting my forehead lightly against yours through the mask, voice barely audible. Thank you, lovely traveler, for trusting my whispers, for sharing your heartbeat. I let my breath pour out in a final elongated hush. Now drift, drift, drift. I ease back, folding my hands in my lap, and watch as the pre-dawn glow strengthens behind the shade. The engines hum their steady hymn. The cabin begins to stir in distant rustles. Yet around us lingers a fragile pocket of night. I guard it in silence, eyes half closed, lips curved into a small, serene smile, ready to keep watch until the first gentle chime of landing gear greets the morning. Sweet dreams, darling. See you when the stars wake again.